Hey everybody, Rob Ferretti here to save you money and aggravation. And I'm doing that by telling you that you should never, and let me pull that back just a little bit because I don't like certainty. You should almost never, and usually certainly never, buy insurance that an exotic car rental company is selling you or a specialty car rental company is selling you, especially without reading the fine print. A lot of people, they just want to get the car. They're like, yeah, whatever, just give me the insurance too. You may have insurance coverage and you're just getting the insurance as an extra layer of protection, but ultimately it's not providing any protection. There are a couple of different ways that what they're selling you is genuine smoke. And you have to read the fine print. You got to find out who's underwriting the policy, what company it is. So say like, I need to see the policy that I'm paying for, because it's not cheap. For an exotic car rental company, they'll charge you anywhere from $75 to $400 a day for insurance for this car, and you're taking it for 2 or 3 days, so it's an extra $1,000 and a $4,000 rental. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but if you're not getting covered, what's the point in wasting your money? You're better off using that money for anything else. Just go buy a outlandish dinner. But to give it to the rental company, who may be sort of self-insuring and not even passing that money over to an insurance company, so there is literally zero coverage. It's them just providing you assurances that they're not going to come after you, but I'll guarantee you they are. Because here's what they do. The first thing that they do to trick you is they give you a super high deductible. It's like, all right, well, yeah, we'll give you, and even in California, I remember this from a previous business dealing, they were very sketchy about it. You can't call it insurance, you have to call it a coverage. So yes, we can provide coverage for you, because insurance means that there's probably laws regulating what is issued. Calling it coverage, you can just sort of say, yeah, we cover that, yeah, we got you. But the way they trick you out of giving them money in exchange for no coverage is they put a super high deductible, which covers statistically virtually anything that'll happen, say $15,000 to $25,000. And depending on the vehicle, you really have to have a significant accident or significant damage in order for that to happen. So if you just have the standard like wheels, fender bender, front bumper, whatever, the common damage that you may have, oops, somebody bumped into me, it's all right, I got the insurance. No, you don't. First $25,000 is out of your pocket. And they're not even taking a $25,000 security deposit. They're going to come after you. And I assure you, they're going to come after you. They're going to mark up those invoices. They're going to come after you for legal costs, anything else associated with you not just writing a check straight away. And that's one of the ways that they get you, is that they have a super high deductible. And this is assuming that it is a legitimate insurance policy that will ultimately pay out. There's two other things that they get you with that makes it so that the insurance never has to pay out. The one is that they don't cover negligence. What's negligence? Well, if you now have an accident that exceeds 25 or whatever, 15 or 25,000, whatever the deductible is, now negligence is whatever they want it to be. It's gray area. It's like, oh yeah, you crashed the car. Yeah, I know, I just wasn't paying attention or just lost control of it. Like anything that's a common cause of an accident would be, well, that was negligent of you. What do you mean it was negligent of me? Well, you weren't paying attention, you crashed the car. That's negligent, not covered. Wow, what do you mean it's not covered? The only way they won't come after you is if there is an accident with somebody else and their insurance covers it. So that's the only time you can be like, oh, good, phew, lucky, my insurance didn't have to, or I didn't have to worry about it. They just took care of it. I gave them a couple $100. They're still going to keep your security deposit and all of that. But at the end of the day, you're concerned about further liability. You can eliminate that by carrying your own insurance, which you do, and that's usually the insurance you should use, or using a credit card insurance from a reputable company. There's only two that I know that'll extend over to an exotic or a sports car, which is this Chase Sapphire Reserve, which covered me when I was in Germany, and the Amex Premium Car Rental Protection. Those are the only two that extend over to luxury and exotic cars. The other way that they get you is that they'll have in the fine print anything like if you violate the terms of the rental contract, there's no coverage. And that's meant for like if you take it off-road, if you take it on a racetrack, something that you're not permitted to do. But they'll just say like, oh yeah, it's in your contract, it says you're not allowed to speed. Well, you're going to obey the rules of the road. You were going, the cop says you were going too fast, or you were going 30 and a 25. No coverage here, pal, sorry. They don't even have to claim negligence. They've got an out beyond the negligence. And this stuff stands up in court because what they're selling you is really nothing, and they're charging you a lot of money to give you nothing. So that sucks, and that's why you should always stay clear of that. I had that even in a company like Avis, Hertz, Budget, any of these places. When I was in Europe and I rented the M4, I rented 2 of them. I rented one for myself, and I rented the second one for the guys who won the trip to Europe for adventure drives. And they also got M4s. We both did. Me, I did scratch the one wheel. Scratched the wheel, no big deal, right? Well, they made it a big deal, and they charged me for a new rim. Not just a repair, which is what they would have done if they even attended to it at all. They charged me $1,500. My credit card stepped in on that one and said, yeah, we got this. Although it's BS, they paid them the full $1,500, which is why these guys do it. I'm not, let's not even get it. I don't like when companies do that. And even with Sixt, I was like, you know what? For this other car, since I'm not going to be driving it primarily, I'll get it for these other guys. I'm going to get the insurance because I just want to be covered. You know what? They put a $4,000 deductible on the insurance. Even though I got these guys the insurance, they put a $4,000 deductible. It was like 2 wheels were scratched and then whatever, like a door ding or something like that. Guess how much it came to? 4,000 euros. Right up to the deductible. It's like, oh yeah, that's how much damage it is. It's, I want to say borderline fraudulent, but it's just the way that a lot of companies treat damage. They eat some damage, but they completely overbill on other stuff. They don't replace what they say they're going to replace. They don't do anything they're supposed to do. They just charge you and get whatever they can out of you. And when they're going after an insurance company, it's much easier because insurance companies are like, oh yeah, they gave us, so that's an estimate, that's legit, here you go. For somebody who knows better, like me, I think it's all a load of hogwash. And the not having the coverage is sort of just taking money from you. And I want to say it should be illegal. It probably is illegal. Does that stop people from doing it? No. A lot of the companies do. There are companies that write policies. You can get third-party policies from, like, there's a company called iCar Hire, but you have to read the fine print. The policies that some people come in with, it's like, oh, here, this will cover a rental car. And it's like, sorry, doesn't cover exotic vehicles. Exotic vehicles are any vehicles over $50,000 in MSRP. It's like a Ford Explorer can be an exotic vehicle according to that policy. So that policy really covers nothing. And you're like, cool, I've got a policy to cover my rental cars. Something happens, and they're like, sorry, that vehicle's not covered. And they do a lot of it. Some of them are based off of horsepower. Remember, over the years, it's like, sorry, we don't cover any vehicle over 400 horsepower. Why not? Or like they do these weird things that a Ferrari at the time, a Ferrari 360 would have been covered, but a Corvette wouldn't be covered, or a Porsche wouldn't be covered. It just, that car is clearly more dangerous than that car. Why would you, like, if you're worried about horsepower, it doesn't make any sense. And that's the thing with insurance. It doesn't have to make any sense. All they're doing is making you feel good and leaving you out on the hook when something, if something does happen, unfortunately, which, you know what, things do happen. And that's the point of the video here, is to make sure that you cover yourself and you cover the fine print. We do this for every rental customer that takes a car from us. We call the insurance and we verify that their policy is going to both extend over to our vehicle and cover the value of our vehicle if something happens. That is key, because a lot of people will be like, yeah, I got insurance, I'll take care of that. But you have no idea whether it's going to cover it. It's like, and the last thing you want to do is have it come back to you that you've got just a liability-only policy in your state, or you're insuring something, and when it comes push comes to shove, you hit something, you cause property damage, you hit a fence, you take out a light pole, whatever it is, and then you got a $20,000 bill. You're like, there's no insurance coverage because, oh, well, I'm sorry, sir, you rented a Mercedes-Benz. We don't cover Mercedes-Benz. It says right here, no vehicles over $50,000. Now what? Now you're on the hook for that, and you can't get away from it. You can't just be like, well, I'm not paying that. I had insurance. You either get in a protracted legal battle with your insurance company, hoping that they will be forced, or their hand will be forced to pay, which usually would be the case if you didn't have the money to pay and somebody was sort of, there was legal challenges to try to get somebody to pay. The legal cost could exceed what the settlement would be, so an insurance company may just pay out to make it go away, because going and fighting anything in court for 2 years may cost them $25,000 even with in-house counsel versus just writing a check for $7,000 and being done with it right off the bat. If you're going to rent an exotic car or a car anywhere, make sure that your insurance does carry over. I don't enjoy making insurance claims. I don't enjoy dealing with insurance claims, but insurance is probably the most critical thing that you can have when renting a car. I strongly suggest American Express Premium Car Rental Protection for any rental that you ever do. They charge you $25 every time a rental car charges you. So say you rent in any car, like regular car, exotic car, they cover up to $100,000, and they will do this for, even if it's a 2-week rental, they only charge you $25 once. Even if that 2-week rental costs you $20,000, they're going to cover you up to $100,000 for that $25. The Chase Sapphire Reserve offers a lesser coverage. I think it's up to $75,000 in coverage, but at the end of the day, both of those are good coverages to have. Now, making the claims for them, they could be long, drawn out, protracted. They take a lot of time and effort, but at least you don't have to stick your hand in your pocket. And more importantly, you wouldn't have to go to your primary insurance carrier to pay the claim. Going to your primary insurance carrier is like the worst thing you could do, because then it goes on your record or your insurance record or your insurance history that you now have a claim or damage, and they treat that as if you crashed your own car. And that could raise your insurance rates, which resonates over time. And that's the main reason people pay to get insurance, so it never touches theirs. But ultimately, push comes to shove, especially if there's a significant enough damage, they're going to go after your insurance regardless, and they'll come up with some excuse why their insurance doesn't cover it. So I'm not saying that all of them, that there's no insurance coverage out there that you could purchase or no reputable company. You're probably not getting your money's worth. I would say for 99% of the time when people are buying insurance through an exotic car rental company, it's probably not worth very much, or at least not worth the exposure is not worth the cost that you're paying to get it, because you're still extremely exposed. You're better off just upping your own insurance policy limits if there's no coverage there. Or if you don't have insurance, say you live in New York or a city, you don't have a car, you don't have insurance, you can get a non-owner's policy. It's a non-owner's liability policy, which will carry over and extend over to a rental car. You can confirm this. That's the whole purpose of that policy, is to cover you when you Turo or zip car or borrow a car or rent a car, so you don't have to take out that policy. And those are only a couple $100 a year. I strongly, if you don't have a car and you ever plan on renting a car, I suggest going that route, because that's say $150, $200, $300 for the entire year, which covers all the rentals you do throughout the year, versus maybe piecemealing it and maybe spending that for one day of non-coverage that you're getting through a rental company. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this keeps money in your pocket and exposes and just covers some of the common thievery that does take place in the exotic car rental space, or even luxury car rental space. Or, I mean, this could even transfer over to vans or something like that. Just when you purchase insurance from somebody, you're purchasing something that is covering you or you think is covering you. A lot of the times, 98%, 99% of the times people rent, they get the insurance, nothing happens, so it doesn't matter. So like nobody thinks to challenge this. The only people that really learn that this stuff exists are the people that unfortunately are that 1% that do have an accident or do have something happen to them where they have to sort of, oh crap, now I'm reading the fine print and this is not looking good for me. So save some money, cover yourself with your own insurance policy, or supersede your own insurance policy with a credit card policy, and you will be set, good to go, and enjoying life while being covered and not having to worry about somebody coming after you, which they will do. Rob Ferretti, thanks for watching. Have a happy holiday. For those of you not familiar with my other company, I started a company called Adventure Drives, which combines driving and bucket list travel. It's a lot of fun. If you're interested, prices can be done per person. Don't worry if you don't have somebody to go with you, we can match you up with somebody. You can check the link in the description for adventuredrives.com and sign up today.